Hi, Valia. All right, so if you don't know me, I'm Hannah Sandvig. I write cozy fantasy fairy tale retellings, and so does Valia.
Yay.
And but I feel like I did it. I don't want to say by accident because I wrote what I intended to write, but I started writing them before cozy fantasy was a term. So then afterwards, it's like, wait, they're cozy fantasy. And now I feel like it's taken a while for cozy fantasy to figure out if it has, like, what it even is. So I thought we could chat about that because we're both starting a new series coming up. We're in the same multi-author set that's like full of secrets we can't reveal yet. But it's the first time, I think for me, it's the first time anyway that I am like on purpose trying to start a cozy fantasy series that is like what it's supposed to be. What about you? I think so.
Yeah, I don't think I like sat down and was like, I'm gonna write a cozy fantasy, right? Because even
Mm-hmm.
for fairy tales, I think when I was like initially wanted to write fairy tales, I wanted to write obviously like clean and sweet fairy tales, but I don't think like a term cozy fantasy was really like circling around. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like
Mm-hmm.
that was my intention. But now with this new series that is set in the same world, but is like intentionally cozy fantasy, it definitely
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a little bit different in that sense. It's just different because when you like come into it with different intentions, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you're literally is sitting there trying to figure out like what makes cozy fantasy a cozy fantasy because this is what I'm writing. Like
Yes. And I don't think everybody agrees on that at all, which makes it, I don't know, it's like kind of fun, but kind of like hard to figure out then how to communicate it well and do the things that people want you to do in it.
yeah, because I feel
Um,
like there's a big this happens every single time there's like a new term that circles around,
right.
right? Like romantasy, fantasy romance,
Oh, I
like
know.
there's
Everyone's
all
still
types, right?
arguing
Where we will
about
always
it.
argue, okay? We will never get to a like a consensus, I don't feel like.
No,
And
no.
the thing with like the cozy fantasy is just I guess you just really have to step into the cozy and it's cozy is different for different people. So I think
Hmm.
it's like on the other side of it, it comes down to whatever you market it as. But I don't know. It's definitely frustrating not to have like an actual definition.
Yes. So I like recently, because I'm doing research, so I came across like there's this company called Kalytics, as you know, but everyone else might not know, that puts together like genre specific information for authors to help them, write books that are marketable and all that stuff and then market them. And the cozy fantasy, like I could tell as he was going through it that he was like, I have not run across a genre that's this hard to talk about.
Yeah,
I believe he actually really said it comes down to vibes. It was like,
it
what are
does.
vibes? And I was like, okay, I'm vibing. Like,
Right, but your vibes for cozy are so different than somebody else's, right? Because
yes.
there's that, what is it? Is it a cozy? It is a cozy something, but it's literally like a serial killer or something book. And I'm like, okay, I mean, for
Which
me,
one are you
yes, I
talking about?
find horror kind of cozy and comforting.
Yes.
But okay, maybe not cozy. I find it comforting, but I wouldn't be going into a horror book thinking, oh, this is a cozy book for me to read, because
Yeah,
those are not my
yeah.
vibes.
I know. On the other hand, like, I don't read horror at all, obviously, because if you guys don't know, I am like a big pansy. I don't like to be scared, but I don't mind, like, I like some moody vibes. So I can understand, like, leaning into the moody vibes a bit. And one of my comfort reads when I was younger was Sunshine by Robin McKinley, which is like, I don't think you've read that one.
Mm-mm.
I feel like we've talked about this before. So it's vampires, and it's pretty much like vampires have taken over the entire world, and we're all gonna die eventually, but like slowly, whatever. So like we don't call that cozy vibes. And also she has to go with this vampire who's like a good vampire, and they're like taking out one of the bigger vampires, and there's a lot of blood, but she's like bakes cinnamon rolls every morning, and like it's just like everything about it is comforting. And it's actually with the book I like took when I was in labor with my first child to like hang out at the hospital and read because I find it like so cozy. So I do understand that like sometimes it's just like writing style. and characters. And I mean, baking obviously helps. And like her family dynamics and stuff were cute, but also like it's not Sunshine's a weird book, by the way, but people should read it. It's good. But it's like one of those examples. So I kind of understand how cozy horror can be a thing.
Yeah. I do think that there are certain staples, right? Like when you come to cozy anything,
Mm-hmm.
fantasy, you know, cozy mysteries have been around for forever, right? Like
Yes.
I feel like there is like there are staples within the books that are required for them to even qualify in that sense, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me, I think those staples are like definitely like the found family. I feel like that is like a big one, right? Most
Okay. Yeah.
cozy fantasy, cozy books they require that feeling of togetherness with other people,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then I feel like you have food more often than not, right, in some way
Yeah.
or sense or something that's like a almost like a family activity. I feel like, you know,
Like
like
something like very domestic.
yeah, domestic, thank you, that is like the word.
Yes. Because people
And
say slice of life. I think that's what they
like,
mean, though, is like that domestic little,
yeah,
like we're doing something small but together around the house sort of thing.
yeah. So it's like it's like almost that mundane too. It's like those
Mm-hmm.
everyday things that you just have, whether it's in a mystery setting or a fantasy setting or whatever, and you find comfort in
Mm-hmm.
those like little things, you know. You always have, you know, people do, I feel like there's always hobbies.
Yeah.
They're always doing something. They always have one thing that's like their thing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like in my one of mine is like she's a dancer, and another one she's like baking, and another one she's
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? So it's like there's always like a one of those. Um,
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And I think like it doesn't okay, this one doesn't have to be, but I know you and I both like doing it and I love it in books, but like animal sidekicks
I
or
think it's a big
pets.
one.
And I
Yeah.
think like I don't know, I should make a video about ids sometime, but we've talked about like the things that people love in books are called ids. It's like a whole thing. But one of the main ones they say is touch. And I do think that that's part of the appeal of the animal sidekick. So
Mm-hmm.
like with the book I'm working on, I was trying to come up with because I'm just planning, right? I haven't started writing it yet, but I'm doing all like my pre-writing stuff. I'm like trying to like figure them out. And I wanted to do something with a pet. And I needed something that was like a fire elemental for the plot line. And most of them are like, I don't know, I was like a salamander, like that sort of thing. And I was like, but I feel like it needed, especially like for book one, to be something like fluffy. So
Right,
that
right.
you
Like
can touch it, so you
yeah,
can feel it, so you can have like that cuddle and that coziness, not just like cute and it's fun and whatever, but like I wanted you to be able to like
yeah.
and like pet it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm going with a Finnish firefox. I can't remember what they're called in Finland, but they like they're supposed to be midnight black, and when you run your hand across them, their fur like it sparks like little sparkle sparks,
Oh,
and
that's
then
cool.
their tail or sometimes all their fur, depending on the story, like glows in the dark, and they make the aurora borealis, the northern lights. So they like frolic through the forest, and like little sparkles and sparks go everywhere, and then there's the northern lights. And I was like, this is the cutest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
That's adorable. I wanted to
Oh,
use
I'm
a
so
fox
excited.
in mine as well.
They're just
But
so cute.
yeah, like one of those white ones that just like disappear into the snow, you know,
Like
kind
an Arctic fox, yeah. And you like see the videos of them like jumping
of,
like
yeah, and they're just gone.
like the first.
I
I
just
love it.
love that so much. But I don't know if that's what I'm gonna go with or not, where I'm at the moment. But
Or it could be one for a future book. But we are both running winter ones, so like that is kind of
yeah. I feel
the
like there are
vibe.
like staples. My other option is an owl, so I might
I've already
go
done an
with
owl and it was very fun, so I recommend.
yeah.
Um, okay, so I was curious, like, of the books you've already written that we say we like kind of wrote them cozy, but we didn't mean to, like, which one do you think is your most cozy fantasy book? Like, has the most elements somehow in it? So I would say your first one in your fairy tale series is probably the least cozy, even
Correct.
though, like, I still feel like it has like I put in that moody kind of
Hmm.
moody, gothy, cozy adjacent feel. Like I still think it's like really comforting, but you don't have as many cozy elements. It's your Beauty and the Beast one. But like, which one do you think?
I think I was
I'm
actually
torn
thinking
between
about
like
that
three of
the
them.
other day because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to like pull more of that cozy feeling when I'm like talking about my books, right?
Yeah.
It's like which book is it? And I am torn, okay?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's
Okay.
I am between the Poison Princess
which is Snow White,
Yes. And then The Cursed Beauty, which is my Sleeping Beauty retelling.
which
And
your dragon does wear a scarf in it.
the thing is that between these two
Cute
books,
cozy.
feel like I feel like I separated the two things I love most, and I put them in two books instead of
Okay,
putting them in
yeah.
the same,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
like The Poison Princess is the one that I love the found family the most. Like they
Mm-hmm.
have one of my favorite microtropes, which is family dinners. Like
It's
they
so cute.
sit around this table and they have chaotic energy and they talk and over each other and they have good food. And that is a microtrope that I love when it comes to found family, right?
Because it's
But
like you've got like the band of warriors that take the place of the dwarves in that one that she
yeah,
like stumbles upon. So it's like all these guys,
who are just like these rugged, like, hardcore men, and then they sit in front of,
but like brothers. Yeah, like
but
to
they're
each
brothers,
other.
like sit in
Yeah.
front of this table and just like mush because they're just talking about these things and eating all this food. And it's just like very fun. And it's really fun for her because she's been basically alone her whole life. So she's sitting there
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by this energy of this
Yes.
family, right? And I just like really love that. And also that book has like the little tiny bunny that's judgmental.
I love your
I
buddy in it
love
so much.
um so it does have like a lot of those elements. But then
Mm-hmm. And it has a cottage.
in its cottage, right, in the middle of the woods, like very fallish vibes. Like they go mushroom picking and
Mm-hmm.
berry picking. Like they do these very fallish, cozy activities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that, like hands on. I think I like a lot of hands on.
Like tactile kind
Yeah.
of feel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then with The Cursed Beauty, right? She's a dancer and
Mm-hmm.
she's in the Winter Kingdom. So she has like the fireplaces and the skating rink and
Yes.
the adorable dragon that wears a scarf and loves
He's so cute.
baked goods. Like it
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of that. And I feel like relationship wise, Alonka and like Nikolai, they have more of like a cozy relationships, even
Mm-hmm.
though like he's the bodyguard and she's a princess and it's like forbidden, right? But I feel like it's way more cozy. And then like with Ivanka and Dimitri, like they're more they're not as cozy in the beginning stages.
Right.
So you get more of the cozy setting and less of them being cozy. But I feel
Mm-hmm.
like Cursed Beauty, it's like you get more of them being cozy and then the setting. So it's kind of like
Yes. No, that makes
in the
sense.
two.
Because in Cursed Beauty, oh, see, I'm trying to remember because it's been a minute since I read it now. But I remember that your bodyguard, Nikolai, was like he has more like cozy hobbies and things like that going on too. Like they both kind of have their own things and as characters, and then when they come together, like with more softness maybe
Yeah,
in them.
so he's a soldier, right? He was a
Mm-hmm.
childhood friend of hers and then he disappeared. Like she doesn't know what happened to him. And then he comes back and becomes her bodyguard. And while he's been away, he's like really developed, like he was like this when he was younger, but he really developed this. He collects flowers
Oh,
and
right,
he
that's
like
what it is.
has them in his little diary and he like writes about it. And then he's also just like soft in the sense that like he knows that her hair always gets tangled because when they were kids her hair would always get tangled. So
Mm-hmm.
while he's away he learns how to braid hair in case he ever comes back.
Right, because
Then
she
he
needs
can
it.
braid her
So
hair.
cute. Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a lot of that. And then obviously like she's been alone her whole life. Like her parents don't understand her, she's cursed, and so
Mm-hmm.
she has to like has developed like things that she does and she enjoys. And yeah, I do think they're a much softer couple in that sense, and
Mm-hmm.
I like really love them for that aspect. I'm always like,
Yes,
read this book, it's so good because they're the best.
they're really cute. I Yeah, they might have been my favorite of your couples. I don't know. I can't remember.
I
So then the
forgot
other one,
that
I know
anyway.
it's hard. It's hard. Whoever I'm currently like doing art of or like writing about is my favorite.
Mhm.
But
That's true.
um,
What about you? What's your coziest one that you think?
I don't know. Okay, so I know like the Wolfgate is my least cozy, and I just rewrote it, and it still is. So it's slightly cozier, but like I did my best. But And then the Glass Gate, which is my Cinderella, has like the found family really hard.
Right.
But I don't feel like that one's at like it is cozy, but when we're talking about like the like it's cozy in the vibes and in the low stakesness and it's cute and fluffy, but it's more like fantasy rom-com maybe than like cozy. So I don't know. My two would be I think the Lily Gate is like it has the lowest stakes and a lot of baking,
Okay, yeah.
but it's also I don't know, it's just kind of because it's short, maybe you can't get like into the mood quite as much because
Mhm.
it's just like a little one. That one's Frog Prince. But like in the end, I think the Rose Gate, my first one, might have the most cozy vibes in it. The Frostgate, my most recent one, was looking too epic, so I like shoved like a whole bunch of chickens and baking and a cottage and a greenhouse into it, and like it totally works. But there's also an epic battle with dragons and stuff, so it's like you
Yeah.
know. And I think like this one is more because this is Beauty and the Beast, so it's lots of like hanging around the castle, and we got a magical library. And there's a lot of baking, and I think like the fact that I turned the like castle staff into like little woodland creatures. So it's like, would you like a fox to do your hair and like apple pick with an otter and then learn to bake a pie, you know, with some beavers who are like the kitchen staff. Um, and even though it's a castle and not a cottage, which like yeah, again the Frostgate we get a cottage, which I love. Like I think for Snow White, that's like the thing about Snow White that makes it so cute and cozy is the cottage in the woods. And if it
Yeah.
doesn't have that, then I'm like really sad. But even though it's a castle, because the castle's kind of like cut off from the outside world because of the curse, I feel like that almost gives it that more contained, cozy vibe. Because it's like you have the castle and you have the grounds and you have the few people that are in it, but it's not like this big epic fantasy world because they're just trying to solve the problem of their little thing. And even though it's kind of an epic problem, it's still like it's not like the whole kingdom's going to collapse.
Yeah.
And so the stakes are like they feel high to them, but it's it's still not like as political as some of them. So I think that's funny because I wrote it obviously before I knew cozy fantasy. Well, it didn't exist as a term yet,
Right, right. And
but
so too, because that's your first book, that's like the most cozy. And for me, it's like later on, I got more cozy
yeah,
as I
well,
went
because
along.
you've been writing longer than me, and your first like couple series are way more, I would say, like on the epic fantasy
Yeah,
side, right? Like your Skazka original series and like your Thunderbird Academy are both way more like action.
yeah, action driven and like adventure. Yeah,
Mm.
I still
Do you
find that
think?
people still call Of Water and Moonlight like a cozy paranormal, and I'm like, is it because nobody died? I don't,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
But
mean, it's cute
okay,
and all, but I wouldn't, yeah, call it
yeah, I wouldn't
cozy.
either, but people do, and I'm like, I mean, whatever floats your boat. Here we
You're
go
like, I'm
back to
happy
that.
for you.
What is a cozy fantasy, right? And
Yeah, exactly.
defined differently, but I don't
I don't know.
know. I love how both of us are like, we're talking about what is cozy fantasy. We don't know.
We don't know. It's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
Um, I know because one of the other things people talk a lot about it is like having like high stakes or low stakes, and I do think that's like impossible to define to start with. And then like the most commonly like held up as like the standard of cozy fantasy books, like Legends and Lattes or I can't remember what all of them are. I feel like a lot of them have pretty high stakes, or else, like, even if the stakes are low, like Legends and Lattes, it's like, will my coffee shop work or not? But like, someone burns it down, sorry, spoilers, and things like that. And like, her past comes back for her, and there's issues. So it's not like that doesn't feel, it's not like, will I get enough customers? I have to bake the perfect pudding. Like, there's more than that usually. And I do like, okay, so this is one of my theories about cozy fantasy. And I should start saying I don't actually read fan art or sorry, fanfic, but the idea of taking characters who have been in a really epic story and then giving them a cute little soft story is like what a lot of fanfic is, right? That they love, and fan art too. It's like, or putting them in like an alternate universe where bad things don't happen to them as much because people are like, we must protect this character, right? We love them. We want to give them the happy ending they deserved, or something like that. I kind of feel like you can't have that level of connection if your characters have never been through anything hard. I
Okay.
feel like I feel like if it's just like, I don't know, if the stakes are too low or if they don't have enough trauma in their backstory, I love a traumatic backstory, then the coziness doesn't hit as hard. It's my
I don't
feeling.
know.
I feel like the contrast is part of it. It doesn't have to be like too crazy, but I feel like it has to be like they have to yearn for the coziness and get it. Like they have to want the found family because they don't have that, or like want the peace because they've had hard things.
Okay, I guess I can
It's
see
a
that.
theory.
Yeah. I do think there's definitely a sense of that. I think the problem for me would be not that I can't read a whole book about somebody just wanting to run a coffee shop. And this goes back to actually like some of the translated fiction from Korea that I've read recently.
Okay.
They are cozy, like cozy fantasy books, right?
Hmm.
But they are very much of I want to run a bookshop. This is the whole thing. And it's customers
Hmm.
coming in and me getting to know their
Right.
stories and
True.
stuff. And the thing with that is that I think I would have been bored if it was, just them coming in to do whatever, blah, 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 if the characters themselves didn't feel realistic. I
Hmm.
think that's
Hmm.
the difference. If you write a sweet, cozy fantasy where the characters have all they want to do is run a like a bookshop or a cafe or
Hmm.
whatever, but you write them so unrealistically, I think that's where it lies, right? And so as
Hmm.
people, we are complex creatures who have a history, right? We don't
Hmm.
come out like we're not in our 30s, 40s, whatever, and we've never, you know, broken a toe or like, you know what I mean? Like we've never had any issues in our
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it is. It's like if you stray too far away from the fact that these are real people, then that's when it like makes it. So I don't think you have to have like them have traumatic pasts or
Hmm. It
any of
doesn't
that because
all have
I'm
to be
not like a
trauma.
traumatic past person. Like I don't care about that in books, right? You like a
Hmm.
traumatic past, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't need a traumatic past. I just need somebody to be mean to them once and them carrying that with them forever because that happens sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
And
You
it's
feel
so
like the wound still.
yeah. But basically, it's just like you just need to make them realistic. I think that's the part that, when it comes to cozy fantasy, is that a lot of the books that I personally connect to in that genre
Hmm.
are the people that I read about, is the
Hmm.
characters that are like, they feel realistic. They feel like they're living this life that is cozy and sweet, and they've earned, like you said, like they've earned it.
Hmm.
But just, yeah, just like they chose this path for themselves and this is where they are now and whatever. I think like that's the big
Hmm.
one for me is like they have to be real, okay?
Which I would say, like, for all books, because both of us also read like a lot of contemporary romance and
Yeah.
rom-coms. And obviously, they are mostly not like ex-assassins or something, like,
But I know,
but
I know.
still, like, they've got their like stuff they're working through and things
Yeah,
like that. And that's part of it, like that character arc of it. I think it's just in fantasy, you can like ramp it up even higher
right. Yeah.
of like, why do they need this so bad? And so that you're like, I just want this for them.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
do feel the same about like reading random contemporary romance. I'm like, oh, they deserve it. They should be together.
They're so sweet. They need all the love in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that about all of my characters that I write.
Well, yes, I
Like,
know.
poor
And we should. We're
I'm
like,
like, they
you
should.
need your happy ending.
Yeah. I
I
will
know.
say that
Mhm.
100% cozy fantasy needs to have a happy ending.
Yes.
Cannot have an open ending. I cannot have some traumatic event happen and them,
No.
watching their loved one die and they're crying at the grave. I was like, that is not a
But
cozy
they'll persevere.
yeah. I'm like, no, this is not cozy. Get away from me. So I will say that is one stipulation I will not ever get away.
Yes.
It has to
And
have
it
a
doesn't matter if it's a romance or not a romance. It
correct.
still has to end with like that
Yeah.
feeling. Because that is the thing, is like cozy fantasy goes all the way from like absolutely no romance at all to like full on, it's the whole plot,
Yep.
because it's like, again, it's like the vibes.
Yeah.
But I know, and I think that's why found family hits so hard, because you're just like, for any level of it, it's really good. I agree. Okay, and then like, I think we're both, for our new ones, like trying to set up a cozy setting. And for me, I was blanking again for a second. But the K-Lytics thing I read about like what makes cozy fantasy, one of their top things was something I was already planning to do. So I was like, yes, I understand it. But like the little villages, whenever you can, like setting up like a little village with like little shops and stuff like that going on and having that kind of small town vibe. I think like I was already like so excited, and I was really glad to see that they felt that was one of the like hallmarks of it, because like I said, you can have it at a castle, you can have it like Legends and Lattes takes place, I'm pretty sure, in a big city. It's just like in a little neighborhood. So you can do that, but there's like something about a charming little village.
The community,
Like,
that
mm,
of like just that
yes.
comfort that you get from it. I
Yes.
personally do not understand the comfort of a small town or a village, but I did grow up
Fictional one though.
fictional one. It's still a little bit different. I understand it from. I mean, obviously, like when I was younger, during my summers, I would spend them in a village in Ukraine. So like I
Hmm.
understand the concept of how it works.
Yeah.
And so I did appreciate it then, but I'm not a like a small town village girl now.
Hmm.
So I definitely understand that, but I do love that. I love setting up like all the little places that they get to go and like
Yes.
all the things that they're doing. And I also really love the standalone series, right? Like where each one is a standalone, but it's set in like
Yeah, I
a
do
place.
too.
So you kind of are just like living in this town with them for the
And see
duration.
like the
Yeah.
different aspects of it from the different points of view as you go. I like that too. And I like that you can like try and guess like who the next book's characters will be and things like that. You'd be like, oh, I hope like the baker gets a book, or, like things
Yeah.
like that, like hint at it. I'm really excited to set it up. I've been like working on a map and like harassing people and being like, what are the cutest kinds of shops? What can we make? And a market and a market. But I do love that. And yeah, like you said, I love it for a series. I feel like that's one of the things with my fairy tales and with your fairy tales is that they might have more crossover than yours. My characters like run into each other more than yours do. But I know yours do a couple times, but like by my last book, I
At
was
the end
like,
of the
there's too
book.
many characters, get them
Yeah.
all out of there. Um, but they all take place like in different locations. So it's like
Mhm.
a different, which is fun because you have to like explore this whole world and things like that. But I am excited to just like go real deep into one setting and like
I
feel
know.
it. The
I'm scared
vibes.
too because like I was saying, like Cursed Beauty is probably like between Cursed Beauty and The Poison Princess, like those are my two favorites. And Cursed Beauty is by
Mm-hmm.
Winter Kingdom, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
just want to go back there so badly, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that is the kingdom that I'm just like, yeah. So taking, a village in that kingdom and like really like setting up shop kind of thing and just like
Mm-hmm.
diving into what I can create. And then I want to do that for like all the kingdoms, right?
Like
That's
10
so
different
fun.
series about like
Yeah, like it's the
lizard
world
villages.
of Russian fairy tales. Like there's so much to
Mm-hmm.
do. I think with the
Yes.
fairy tales, you are kind of, because you're doing the retellings, right? So you do kind
Mm-hmm.
of adapt this story that everybody knows into this setting that you've creating, right?
Yeah, totally.
Now that like we're stepping out of that into this new series where both of us are like still in the same kind of world, but we're just doing
Mm-hmm.
just completely our own thing. I think there's just like so much fun in that you can make it as cozy as you want, kind of
Mm-hmm.
take a lot of those elements and just make them your own even more so than
It's
you would in
true.
a fairy tale.
I was very much like, I'm gonna take this little tiny island I drew on a map one time and cut it off real hard from like the rest of the world as much as I need to, and then like give it kind of its own rules as much as I need to make it like adorable. Yeah, that was my whole plan.
I love it.
Okay. Moving on to my next theory, which is that I feel like we need to read more cozy fantasy than we do. At least myself. I feel like you keep saying you need to read more in general because
Yes.
you're like a feast or famine kind of reader. I read always, but I got like really into the habit last year of mostly reading contemporary romance, which I do not like. I don't know why, but I think it's just like really predictable. And cozy fantasy, as we mentioned, is like all over the map. So sometimes it can be hit or miss for me, or I can get halfway through and be like, this isn't quite what I thought it was. I did read a few. I probably read like 10. Like it's not like I read nothing. But I want to be like a little more intentional and try and read more of the ones that people are really into and try and be like, what about this do I love as well? I'm not trying to copy people, obviously. It's just like how inspiration works. You're just kind of like, okay, people say they love it. Why? is that? And is it something I love too, or is it something that I'm like, that's cool for you kind of
Yeah, which
vibe?
I, you know me, I go through that all the time because I'm like, let me read this popular book and see what I like about it. And then I walk away with nothing. And I think that's okay. I think that's why like
It is
reading
fine.
is so subjective, right? Like people are gonna get different stuff out of it. But
Hmm.
no, number one thing that we're always told as writers is like you have to read in order to learn how to write, like how to
Yeah.
tell stories. So if you are gonna write in the genre, like yeah, you need to read more in the genre because while there's not a definite definition of it, there are enough
Hmm.
information out there for you to figure out like what people are like what's resonating with the people when they read those stories.
And like when they talk about popular books, like what is it that it seems like connects with them? And is that something that you are like into or not? 'Cause sometimes we're reading, you're like, I didn't catch that thing at all, which is really funny because it is like, I think we just all bring so much of ourselves to our books as we read that
Yeah,
like everyone's experience reading the same book is like a different experience. Um,
I
anyway, I have a
so
book. What?
what are you reading?
Oh, what am I reading? Okay, so yes, my theory was we should read a book each and report back, and we'll
Okay.
see. Okay, where did I put it?
I did pick
My
three
book see. Okay. Is
because
it like, are you gonna read all three, or is it like I promise I'll read one of these, but
I
I
will
don't
read
know what
one of
my
these.
mood will be? Yeah, that's what I thought. So it's good to like have a mood. Okay, so I am gonna read The Teller of Small Fortunes for two reasons. One is that I keep looking at the cover and I'm like, that's a cute cover. And two is that I like impulsively grabbed it from the library, and I'm real bad at reading print books these days. Like I am the sort of person that will buy a big hardcover and then buy the ebook because I'm like, probably because I read in bed at night, I think. It's just easier with a Kindle. I don't know, it's just my habit. People think it's funny because I will forget that a print book is on my end table. Like it just like disappears to me. But my Kindle, I remember that I'm reading books, which is the opposite than most people. But if I tell you I'm gonna read it, guys, I'm gonna read this, then I will do it.
I have that, but in a
I was
different
gonna
cover.
say you have like such a cute one that you picked up in Scotland, right?
Yeah,
And
the
you had
water
like all
not
the
the water yeah the Waterstone special edition that they had for it.
there's a few cute covers for it.
Yeah,
Whoever like it is inspiring prettiness at least, and as an artist that is promising. And
yeah.
there's a
So
baker and a cat and stuff. I don't know. It's not that
yeah,
big.
I don't think it has romance in it. I think it's a
I
very
don't think so.
cozy fantasy without romance. Like it's more about like the
Yes.
personal journey and stuff in it, which I
It
thought was
feels
interesting.
it looks like it hits found family really hard.
Mm, right.
So I guess I'll report back on that because maybe if I'm just reading a lot of romance and then I read a cozy without romance, like it's like the same, it'll like balance out in my head, and then I'll write cozy fantasy romance beautifully.
Yeah.
I'm
So
also I'm halfway through the third I Ran Away to Evil, which
okay.
are they are cozy lit RPG. Um,
Oh,
yeah, we're like you're like in a game world, and it's I have never read lit RPG before, so I'm kind of like, what the heck is happening? But I have to say, I think that one of the reasons it works as cozy, like they're funny and they have like funny, cute elements, but also it's real hard to kill somebody for real because you can revive people and stuff because it's like got game
uh,
rules. So
like
I feel like that kind of like lowers the stakes. They're like, these assassins, but they're just doing their job, and we'll just give the person a potion afterwards. But it's very inconvenient, you know? It's I think it's funny. It's like cozy for a weird reason.
I mean, if it works, it works, right?
A little like necromancy. It's a good time. I don't know. Anyway.
Anyway, I picked three books that have been on my
Mm-hmm.
like TBR for forever. And because we were talking about how there's like no definite definition to cozy fantasy, it's I like as I'm looking at them, I'm like, yeah, that actually is very correct. Because
Mm-hmm.
I have the Rainfall Market. This is a Korean bestseller. And I actually did start reading this. I'm like 39 pages into it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
really about this like market that shows up out of nowhere when people need it. And so
Oh,
the
that's
main
cute.
character kind of like ends up in it and
Mm-hmm.
just magical and whimsical and like all the cozy feels, you know? And I think
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
person does find like they're like a little bit of found family, a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
themselves in it. So like that is like this is like this is a cozy fantasy. Like that is what they call it, you know? And then
Mm-hmm. But
other
it's more like on the magical realism side, sounds
yeah,
like, right? Mm-hmm.
the other two are like a romantasy and a fantasy or whatever. But this one
Hmm.
is Violet Thistlethwaite is not a villain anymore,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and this is Watermoon. So both
Okay,
of
I don't
these
think I know
are
what
like,
water moon is.
so this one, if I remember, it's, I cannot tell you off the top of my head actually, but I know it's set in Tokyo and there is like a new owner of a pawn shop, and then there's something stolen and they kind of
Hmm.
like go into it hitching rides on paper cranes across
Cute.
the bridge between midnight and morning. I mean, it's like very like whimsical, beautiful. The cover is also like just gorgeous. It
Oh,
has
they're like a little paper boat at the
yeah,
bottom.
and then like
That's very cute.
on the inside, I think too, they have a little yeah, like a paper boat
I
and
know.
stuff.
We're always suckers for pretty books.
We
What
are
can you
so
do?
such suckers for
Like,
covers. Yeah, so this one, and then this one I know has been called a cozy romantasy. Like this is a
hmm
romance, okay?
hmm
And it's supposed to be cozy, and it's got this dragon on here that I just love because he's like
Very
spinning
cute. I love it.
flowers, which I
Rah, rah,
love.
rah, rah.
Yeah, so yeah, this one has been recommended to me bazillion times as a cozy romantic
Hmm
specifically. So I'm very curious to see like why,
hmm
you know? And yeah, so we'll see which one of these I will actually read.
Yep.
I'm kind of leaning towards this one because
Might be the
I'm a
mood.
little bit in my romantasy era right now. I feel like
Hmm
I need that a little bit more. But I also really want to finish this because I just really am enjoying
And you
it.
started it already.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. It's like very different and yeah, I don't know how to explain it.
It sounds like dreamy to me.
Yeah, but it like literally asks if you could swap your life for a better one, which would you choose?
Mhm.
You can go buy one at the Rain Market, I think.
So we're
I don't know.
curious. We're curious. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions, okay, but yeah, I just when I was looking at like my shelf, and I do actually have a lot of books that are considered cozy fantasy or
Hmm
cozy, you know, adjacent. Or some people call it cozy. I wouldn't call it cozy, you know, that
Yeah. hmm
that thing. But these are the three that kind of just stood out to me because they're all very different from each other. I
They
think
are.
Watermoon might be young adult, and then
hmm
the other one is the romantasy is adult, and then Rain
hmm
Market's obviously like a magical realism fantasy.
hmm
We'll see.
So you're hedging your bets with your mood reading. You're like,
Yeah,
surely one of these
one of these will
will be my mood.
I am trying to read a little bit more, okay? I was on a very crazy writing schedule. I'm trying
Hmm
to slow down and be a normal human being again that sleeps at night.
You're
So,
very nocturnal when you write.
yeah,
We don't
but
know why. It's just how it is.
it is what it is. But I am trying to be more intentional
Balanced.
into making myself into a regular person.
Slowly coming back from the vampire state into the human
Maybe I can
state.
read something. Okay, I read like 5% of a book yesterday. Okay, I was very proud of myself. I went
I
from
believe in you.
70% to 75% before I was like, I need to sleep.
Yes.
It was a lot,
That's
okay.
that's the other part that's important.
I
Is the
guess.
sleeping part. All
Mhm.
right. Well, that's good. I think we cleared things up really well for everybody about
Clear
what
as
cozy
mud.
fantasy is. But like I feel like this would be fun because we can like work on it this year and see if we come to a clearer idea or if we just like have fun knowing that it's all nonsense and
Yeah.
genres are made up, and especially this one. And we'll just like do things we like.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
Okay.
that is my favorite part of writing cozy is I think that I just get to put all the things that I love into this
Yes.
and then just go with it.
I was gonna
Make,
say with your feeling like you had split up the things you loved into two different books, I found myself almost doing that with this next book, and in the end, I just like threw as many of the things that I love into one book as I possibly could. I was
yeah,
like, you know what? You don't need to save these for later, and also you can reuse them, so it's fine. So I'm like,
exactly.
everything, all the fun things. So
I
I'm
mean,
really excited. I'm gonna start
about,
drafting soon.
yeah, you were talking about like contemporary romance. I feel like
Hmm
if an author writes more than one series of like standalones, right? It's like
hmm
literally it's like these five books are these five tropes, and then the next series is like the exact same five tropes, just in
But
different.
with hockey, and then
Yeah,
those
right.
tropes again,
Now
but
we're
with
now
cowboys, you
now
know.
we're So I mean, like, I feel like it works, right? You can
Yeah,
just do
I'm not
that.
usually not mad at it. I feel
No,
like sometimes, and I think that's the thing with comfort reads, which cozy fantasy like is in the comfort read genre, is that sometimes the predictability of it is part of the comfort of it. That's why we rewatch shows and reread books, right? Like you don't want to worry too much. So I think that leaning into some of those things that we all know we love is just it's like a little cozy blanket and it's part of the fun.
I agree.
No, I think so. I think it's good. What's your plan for this week? You're just gonna continue trying to be a human. You got some edits to do.
Yeah, I do have some edits to do. I would like to start kind of pre-planning the cozy book
Hmm.
a bit more because I want to start drafting it the beginning of February. So
That's my plan too. Yeah.
yeah, I don't, as you know, I don't plan out my books, but I do feel like there are like some scenes that I just need to write out just to get a bit of a feel for my characters and stuff. And I like doing that before I start the actual draft. So I do have like the general names and ideas of what I've
Hmm.
planned out for the series, but I definitely need to like some random draft chapters that help me kind of get my mind into it.
Yeah. Do you find like is it mostly like dialogue stuff that you try and do, like their interactions? Is that
Yeah, I
like
mean, as you
because
know,
they
I
don't always
very much,
meet immediately, so sometimes you like feel like you have to jump ahead to when they already know each other to get like the
yeah,
feel of them.
I will say it's never the first meeting. It's
Hmm.
never the first meeting that I write. And it's definitely more, it's usually some kind of a conflict that they're having. Somebody gets
Right.
run over or something later on, they
People get
break
run
something.
over.
Like, yeah, like,
It's happening in your books. Keep it cozy,
I
Valia.
mean, it's just one of those things. Like, I need some kind of conflict. Even if I don't keep that scene later on or like that conversation or
Hmm.
whatever later on, I need them to usually yell at each other. I feel like that happens a lot. I write a very big like yelling at each other scene,
Hmm.
and then like I most of the time don't use it in the book because there's just not really
It's like
space.
too much conflict.
But
No, that makes
they
sense.
yeah, but they yell at each other. Okay, and that's how I
This is
typically
also
start
therapy,
my
maybe.
books.
Hey, you got a lot of feelings. Gotta make your characters yell at each other for a bit, and then they can settle down. You can write your book.
Yeah, so that's like where I'm at with that. I do want to
Hmm.
finish my edits as well for the book I'm currently trying to put together,
Hmm.
and then just keep up with a lot of business stuff because when I was
Yeah.
drafting like the last 2 weeks, I just socials, everything. I just did not
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
care about that. So
No.
gotta kind of get back into it.
No paperwork, no sleeping, no nothing, only writing. And
Yeah,
now you have to pay the consequences. But you wrote a book, so
but you know,
there you go.
we're good.
Yeah.
Fine. What about you?
Well, I am almost done my like kind of cleanup of the Wolfgate because I finished drafting it like at the very beginning of this month.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to get to beta readers by the end of the month before I start writing the cozy one because even though um, we're hoping to be done these by summer according to the deadlines, I'm nervous about that. I don't write as fast as Valia does. Um, but it's not going to get public. We're not publishing it until next January. So I really want to get the Wolfgate out so I have a new release because it's been a while since I've had a book out. So I'm hoping to get that off to my beta readers and then start drafting, yeah, beginning of February, which it is the 23rd as we record this. So we're getting close to that. But also I have been like I'm still trying to figure out how the writing process works for me and how much pre-plotting and planning I have to do. But for this one, I'm really trying to world build quite a bit and at least set stuff up enough with a good framework that I can fill in as I go and remember like where my cute shops are and what kind of things I have because I want some good consistency across things, which I always think I'll remember, but I don't. So I've been doing some of that stuff, and on my Patreon, I've been sharing kind of like how I'm setting it up and that sort of thing, which is kind of like then it makes me get it out of my head and write it down. So it's like also for me as well as like so my patrons can like read it and see the pictures, but I'm also like, okay, yes, we get it all like figured out and who my characters are. And I let my newsletter vote on my guy's hair color is unsurprisingly dark. Um, I know it's shocking. He's a magpie, so I was like, he either gets white hair with blue highlights, like shimmer or something, which apparently was too mermaid, or dark hair, like black hair, but like bluey green iridescence, like in the light. So the black hair one. My kids were like, white hair is for old men. And I was like, You watch anime. What's wrong with you? You know that's
I
not
was like,
true.
yeah, I was like, they kind of are exposed to non non that.
Exactly. I'm like, you're better than this anyway. Harass my teenagers. But yeah, that's the plan. Finish pre-writing. I kind of like I say finish, but really beginning of the month I want to start wherever I'm at, right? I'll just see how much prep I can do, and then that will be the amount I've done, and then we'll start to write, and then yeah. So if we check back next month, we can also report if we've actually managed to start writing this book.
You're like, I could be done with
Good.
this book.
Let's hope so. Okay. But yeah, I gotta go now. I gotta go do other stuff. But I'm glad we can hang out and chat.
Yes, thank you
And
for
yeah, we'll do
lovely
this again soon. We visit other times. We'll visit with you guys again soon.
time.
Pull yourself together. We're gonna pretend we're awake and alive. Yeah. And I'm snuffy. It's fine. It's good we recorded this.
You can use it for the
I'll
preview.
probably put it at the end, honestly. I was gonna tell you a funny story so I could put it at the end, but I do have to be at the school in 15 minutes. So.
Okay, bye. I am torn
Okay.
between Poisoned Princess and Cursed City. I feel like with
Do you have them? Can you show us them?
Oh, could I?
I don't know. Can you?
Stand by. You're gonna cut this part out.
Am I?